Welcome to Aspire to Wellbeing's 21-day yoga challenge designed to help you develop a yoga practice as a habit. This 21-day challenge is aimed at the beginner yogi as well as those that are time poor with short and educational videos. You will develop a solid technique as well as learn the fundamentals of yoga. It takes 21 days to form a habit, so it is my hope that after this 21 days, yoga will be a regular part of your life. If you have just randomly come across this video and would like to participate in the 21-day challenge, I've popped all of the details to that in the description. Before we begin the daily video today, if you have not already warmed up, I've created a short warm-up for you and the link to that is in the description box as well. Welcome to day 17, and today I'm going to teach you Camel Pose. I really wanted to break down this pose, giving you lots of little tips and preparations so that you can feel confident and safe in this back bend. Don't worry, there are plenty of options for everybody, and I will see you in the class. Hello and welcome to Aspire to Wellbeing with Yoga. My name's Alli, and today we're going to workshop Camel Pose, otherwise known as Ustrasana in Sanskrit. Camel Pose is one of the more accessible back bends for beginners, but even still it is important to practice with great technique and integrity in the pose. Camel Pose is contraindicated for hernia or recent abdominal surgery, recent or chronic knee, shoulder, neck or back injury or inflammation of these areas. So if you do have any of these conditions, please choose a modification that suits you and always listen to your body and honour your body. Before we get into the how-to, here are some of the benefits of Camel Pose. So Camel Pose opens up the chest, it opens up the hips and into the hip flexors as well. It strengthens and stretches the shoulders and the back. It increases your core strength, improves spinal mobility, and it tones the kidney and stimulates the respiratory, circulatory, nervous and endocrine systems. Some general points to consider when practicing Camel Pose. If you have knees that complain when kneeling, perhaps either roll up the top of the yoga mat or place a pillow or a blanket under your knees. When you're doing this, the ankles can be off of the pillow or the blanket and your knees on it. So if you're going to grab a blanket or a pillow, perhaps while you're there, also grab a strap and a couple of blocks. If you don't have those props, don't worry. We can do the pose without them as well. So Camel Pose is a back bend, and as such we need to adequately prepare our body. So let's start on all fours and go through some preparatory poses. So bringing the hands underneath the shoulders, the knees underneath the hips. We'll start with cat-cow. So as we inhale, turn the sitting bones up towards the sky. Allow the belly to drop, slide the shoulder blades down your back, lift the heart, lift the eyes. And then as you exhale, tuck the tailbone underneath you, round the spine. Push the hands into the earth, separating the shoulder blades and take your eyes towards your thighs. And again, with the inhale breath, coming into your cow pose. And with your exhale breath into cat pose. Let's do 2 more rounds of those, feeling the spine ripple with the breath. Warming up through the spine. Last one. And then coming back to neutral spine, we'll take melting heart pose or puppy pose, it's sometimes called. So the hips stacked above the knees, we're going to reach the arms forward and lay the chest down towards the earth. If you've got a little more range in your shoulders, you can come up onto the fingertips, and you can even take your chin towards your chest if your neck feels okay with that. Otherwise, just keep the forehead towards the floor. Keep turning the tailbone up towards the sky, and as you exhale, feel the heart soften. Keeping the arms nice and straight, feeling the opening through the armpits, top of the chest, front of the shoulders. And stay here for one more breath. And then inhale to rise. So the next one we're going to take is Sphinx pose. So coming on down to the belly, separate the feet a little wider than the hips and press the tops of the feet into the floor. If your lower back kind of feels tight, you can bring your heels out towards the sides of the mat, and this will just help spread that SIJ joint, give you a bit more space in your lower back. Then bring the elbows down towards the mat, right underneath your shoulders. Arms are parallel, forearms are parallel. Draw the shoulder blades down your back. Make sure you're lifting the belly, engaging the belly up towards the spine. And as you draw the shoulder blades down your spine, try to pull the sternum through towards your thumbs. Just taking the eyes forward. Keep the breath flowing. Try to relax the glutes here so that you're not tensing up through the lower back. All of the work, the engagement should be through the middle of the back and through the belly. When I say the middle of the back, I'm meaning in between the shoulder blades and thoracic spine. And stay here for one more breath. And as you exhale, just lower down. You can take a little wiggle of the hips and loosen off the lower back. So the next pose that we'll take is locust pose. So you can bring the arms down towards the side, thumbs to the outside. Press the tops of the feet into the floor and still relax the glutes, but feel the thighs draw up off your kneecaps. Roll the shoulder heads back in space, back into the sockets. And then once again, we want to draw the belly button off the floor, press the pubic bone down instead, and then lift between the shoulder blades. Just keep the back of the neck long, keep your gaze towards the top of the mat. And then here you may be able to just float the arms off. Just keep the feet down for this variation today. So as you inhale, see if you can lift a little bit higher with the mid-back muscles. Try not to clench the glutes as you do this. As you exhale, drawing the belly button in off the mat towards the back of your spine. Take another inhale, and then as you exhale, lower down, taking a little wiggle of the hips, a little belly down Shavasana. And from here, let's bring ourselves all the way up to our knees. And we'll take our low crescent lunge with the bind. So bringing one leg forward, squaring the hips towards that front leg, drawing the pubic bone up towards the navel and lengthening the tailbone towards the back of the knees. We're going to press the hips forward, but without dumping into the lower back. So whenever we're taking our back bends, we really want to try to keep the integrity of the pelvis, the core muscles engaged, and think about any backward bending coming from our upper back. So we're going to press the hips forward without dumping into that lower spine, and then just interlace the hands, bind them if you can, rolling the shoulder heads back, squeezing the shoulder blades together, and then taking the heart and the eyes up towards the sky. If this doesn't feel great on your neck, just take the chin, tuck it in, and keep your gaze forward. When you breathe in, try to breathe into that heart space. And as you exhale, draw the core muscles on even deeper, a little hugging inwards of the inner thighs in energetically is going to help keep those lower core muscles engaged. And then to come out of this, tuck the chin in, use your ribs to hips, your abdominals to bring yourself up. and then we'll change that to the other side. So try to keep the knee in line with the ankle and the hips square to the front. Press forward into the hips, interlace the hands, slide the knuckles down the back of the leg, roll the shoulders back. This is a great preparatory pose for camel. You're in a very similar position on your knees. We want to make sure that we're not dumping into that lower back. So really drawing that pubic bone to navel and then belly button in towards the spine. And to come out, bring the chin towards the chest. And again, use your abdominals. And then from here, we'll come into a twisted thigh stretch. So you can stay with that same leg in front. Other hand to the floor. Here's where it would be handy if you did have a little strap or rope if you can't quite reach your foot. If you can reach your foot, pick it up and then either stay on your hand, come onto the elbow if you've got the range in your hips, and start to draw the heel in towards your glutes. If you want a little more opening through the front of that thigh, if you squeeze that glute, you'll feel that will open up through that hip flexor and quadricep a little bit more. Try and breathe through the sensation. Breathe through the challenge. I know this one's strong. And then slowly release the foot, not like you're trying to escape the pose. And then we just take that over to the other side, bringing the other leg forward. You can stay on the hand or come onto the elbow, your choice. And then reach around for the foot. If you can grab the foot, great. If not, even just holding this pose is still going to give you a nice stretch through the front of the leg. And then with every exhale, just keep beckoning that heel in nice and close towards you. And release. Okay, so the body should be nice and warm now for us to try our camel pose. Okay, so let's start with the first variation. We want to come up onto our high knees. Remember, you can pop those pillows under the knee or roll up your yoga mat at the front. Let the feet dangle off the edge though. You want to stack the pelvis directly over the knees. Hug the inner thighs in energetically towards each other, and you'll notice the pelvic floor draw up. We call this Mula Bandha in yoga. This will help keep your lower back nice and supported. And then I want you to think about drawing the tailbone towards the back of the knees as you draw the pubic bone up towards the navel. Try to keep the glutes nice and relaxed, and just bring the hands to the top of the glutes. Roll the shoulder heads back in their sockets, and from here, keeping all of that strength from the waist down, squeeze the back body, open up the chest, and then just take your sternum up towards the sky. If it feels good in your neck, you can take your neck back. If it doesn't, don't do that. Don't forget to keep breathing in this pose. And then to come out of the pose, bring the chin in. Use your front body like we have been doing in our preparatory poses. And just take a seat and let that pose just settle. And then we'll come into the second variation. So the second variation, if you've got your blocks, you can use your blocks. Otherwise, I'll show you another option without blocks. If you do have your blocks, just bring them by your feet on the high setting or on the low setting, whatever you can reach easy. If you don't have the blocks, what we'll do, and I'll do this variation with you, is tuck your toes under so that your heels are a little bit higher and more accessible. We're going to start the same way, so the hips are stacked over the knees, lengthen the tailbone, pubic bone drawn up to the navel, hugging the inner thighs in. Relax the glutes, lift the sternum up, squeeze the shoulder blades back, and then you can reach for your heels or the blocks, whichever or. And then keep squeezing the back body to open the front body, and then with your head you can either keep the chin tucked in if that feels better, or if it feels okay on your neck, just take your neck back. If this variation doesn't feel good, you can just go back to the other variation where your hands just stay onto the top of your glutes. And take one more big breath into the heart. Tuck the chin in, bring the hands back to the lower back for support, coming all the way up, and then taking a seat, letting that pose settle. It's important to just give your body a chance to settle down before you take any other postures. And then into the final variation of Ustrasana or Camel Pose. Exactly how we've done, but this time just point your toes. The tops of the feet are on the floor. You've got a little further to reach back now. So same thing, we want to make sure our core is engaged, hugging in the inner thighs, our pelvis is neutral. We're going to lift the sternum like we're shining the heart towards the sky. Relax the glutes, squeeze the shoulders back. Try to keep the hips stacked above the knees as much as you can, rather than hinging back. It's a little hard to talk into this pose, but we'll take another couple of breaths here. And then to come out, bringing your hands back, chin tucked in, and then coming up. And taking a little seat and letting that settle down. So I hope you enjoyed the practice of taking Ustrasana. Make sure whenever you do take Ustrasana or Camel Pose that you are properly warmed up. And as you're practicing this, you might just start with as little as 10, 15, 20 seconds in Camel. And as you build the endurance and strength, you can increase the time in the posture. I hope you found this short video helpful. If you did, please like the video by hitting the little thumbs up. And also feel free to comment down below how you went, and if you've got any other requests of any content you would like me to create for you, just let me know down below. If you'd like to further practice Camel Pose, I have created a class with Camel Pose featuring in that class. I'll drop those links down below in the description box for you. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so that you're notified of all the new classes and content as they're uploaded weekly for you. I will see you on the mat soon.
Congratulations on completing another day of the 21-day yoga challenge. Don't forget to like and comment on each daily video, letting me know you've completed the day of the challenge and letting me know how you went to stay in the running for the monthly prize draw, where each month one lucky subscriber will win a 1-hour private yoga session with me. T's and C's for this competition are in the description box below. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you tomorrow.